Good morning, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Brandon Marshall. I'm with Mayor John Cooper's office. The sun is out, so we are grateful for that. It's going to be a very quick but important ceremony. And before we begin, I just wanted to acknowledge our two speakers today. Of course, we have Mayor John Cooper and then Councilmember Delicia Porterfield. So, Mayor Cooper, you can come on up.
Well, thank you.
This is going to be really quick.
Okay, it says very quick. All right, and I want to acknowledge some special guests here and others. Now, this is unanimously approved by our council with awesome sponsorship. And Robert Nash and Jennifer Gamble and Brett Withers, and then our next speaker, Delicia Porterfield and Sharon Hurd and Tanaka Virtue are fundamental in getting this happen. Senator Brenda Gilmore, our great partner at the state. I see Brett Withers back in the back. Actually, if all the council people would raise their hands, let us just thank them for getting this done, because that's what gets it done. And then for our elected office holders, I see Brenda Wynn here in the back. If you would raise your hand, I see our trustee in the back. Thank you. Nashville is a team effort. This is a great moment. It's an honor to be here with you. In 2 months, we're going to be back here at Fort Negley celebrating the actual holiday together, Juneteenth. And this year, for the first time in Metro's history, Juneteenth will be an official Metro government holiday. Now, and no better place than right here to announce it and to celebrate it. And as I was preparing for today and thinking about Easter, you do have to reflect how important our holidays are. They're a time to come together as families, as a community. They're a time to celebrate our traditions, our history, and reflect our values. So we're formalizing as a community that this is the time, this is the year that Metro Nashville properly celebrates Juneteenth as one of our paid holidays. And on this Juneteenth, everybody can make plans right now. June 19th, 2022, Metro government will encourage all Metro employees and their families to celebrate African American culture and history and commemorate the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. Now, I want to thank the Metro Council for unanimously approving our budget request to add Juneteenth as a paid holiday. And thanks also to our Civil Service Commission for their vote this week to formally establish that. Also, looking at Monique, it's important to get the Civil Service Commission to be on board always as a holiday. But we wouldn't be here without the leadership of the council. That's Council Lady Porterfield, Hurd, Virtue, Nash, Withers, everybody here who understands how important this is to get this done for our city. Now, there's no more appropriate place to make Juneteenth the Metro holiday than here at Fort Negley. Now, this hallowed and historic place has a painful past and a complicated legacy. Now, Fort Negley was built here from August to December. I've got David right here in the front. He can coach me on this. In 1862, after Union forces occupied Nashville, 2,771 black women and men were forced to build Fort Negley, the largest inland fort constructed during the Civil War. Now, they labored at a brutal pace while facing hostile living and working conditions and disease that killed an estimated 800 emancipated and enslaved people. Now, they are among the 30,000 soldiers, war refugees, and African Americans believed to be buried around Fort Negley. And Fort Negley has an important story to tell us, and for the last months we've engaged with the community on the development of a master plan for the future of this historic site that you can't calculate the value to our city and frankly the value to our souls. And I hope you'll join Metro Parks on Saturday, April 23rd or Monday, April 25th. Do I have this right, Monique? Yes, to learn more as the community engages in the vision to go forward about how to make this what it should be for our city. Now, starting next month, you'll see stonework restoration begin at the top of the hill. Now, that'll be a long project and will take some number of years. Monique, I think that's right. That's careful work. That's stonemason work. Not that many people who are going to be qualified to do that restoration work, but we need to go ahead and get it started. And someday soon we will, however, be able to celebrate Juneteenth here on a beautiful new remembrance lawn at Fort Negley. I think all the community visioning agrees on that, at least. And to turn this into kind of the dramatic asset that Nashville needs. So we're here and throughout all Nashville to celebrate the freedom of all Americans, to reflect on the tragedy of slavery, but to renew our commitment to fight racial injustice whenever and wherever it happens. And I am grateful to the council and to the city and our leadership to make Juneteenth this holiday, a paid holiday, because holidays are important and they do reflect our values. It is important to have Juneteenth in that set of values. And to dedicate ourselves going forward with the visioning of this park, of this asset, of this commemorative space, that it does renew our souls in a way that any other city will be jealous that Nashville has this, and we will to do the right thing by it. Now, all of us here, so many of you I've seen before in the past struggle to keep this from being developed, to preserve it, to go forward, and it's a great moment to renew our dedication to that. And I'm grateful to be working with the Parks Department. This is a parks property, Monique, but in partnership with the community to have an outstanding vision here that really is one that benefits all of Nashville. Now I see Deputy Mayor Brenda Haywood here in the back, and I'm always so grateful. Her work in the council has been invaluable to, I think, the city, and to value doing good. And again, this is a spot where it's easy to all of us to renew our vows to do that into doing good, and then on to our bright future. Thank you, Delisha. I think I'm supposed to introduce you next as our speaker. Thank you, and again, thank you to the council for getting this done for our city.
As chair of the Minority Caucus, it is an honor to stand here today on the sacred ground of Fort Negley for such a special occasion. Mayor Cooper, thank you for this honor. Juneteenth has long been recognized in the homes and communities of African Americans, known as Juneteenth Independence Day, Emancipation Day, or Freedom Day. This day marks the end of chattel slavery in the United States, as it was on June 19, 1865, when the last enslaved African Americans in America, approximately 250,000 people, were told that they were free, when General Gordon Granger rode into Galveston, Texas, and issued General Order Number 3, almost 2.5 years after President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, and almost 5 months after Congress passed the 13th Amendment to the Constitution abolishing slavery throughout the United States and its territories. For formerly enslaved African Americans, the Juneteenth celebration was a time for reassuring each other, praying, and gathering remaining family members together. For communities today, Juneteenth symbolizes freedom, celebrates the abolishment of slavery, and reminds all Americans of the significant contributions of African Americans to our society. It is marked with celebrations, guest speakers, family gatherings, and community festivals. Here in Nashville and throughout Tennessee, Juneteenth activities are held to celebrate and support African American art, music, food, and business. I'm reminded of a quote by Khalil Muhammad, a professor of history, race, and public policy at Harvard Kennedy School. This is a country, the United States of America, that gained its footing in the world and its wealth and its land on the backs of the indigenous and the enslaved. And for anyone who claims America as their home, whether it is an old home or an adopted home, owes a debt to these people. And therefore, this is everyone's holiday. The very notion of freedom itself, of freedom delayed, of freedom aborted, and of freedom that is fragile, is one that we ought to remind ourselves as much as possible is one that has to be fought for and to be vigilant guardians of. While Juneteenth is sacred to African Americans, it is a holiday that all are welcome and encouraged to celebrate, as it is one step in the right direction of acknowledging and reconciling America's greatest sin, slavery. But let us be clear, while it is a step in the right direction, it is but one step. It is imperative that we work to make sure marginalized communities are whole and fight for equity, and we continue to work to advance racial equity through policy and inclusive strategies aimed at closing gaps and improving outcomes for Nashville's minority communities. This work looks like funding for public schools, which are comprised of primarily Black and brown students. This work looks like increasing the number of minority contractors that are able to do business with the city and ensuring minority-owned businesses have access to supports that will help level the playing field. This work looks like increasing diversity on our city's boards and commissions. This work looks like living wages for all Metro employees. This work looks like ensuring minorities can serve in leadership roles and have access to lead our city departments. This work looks like access to affordable childcare, affordable housing, and workforce housing all across the city, the great city of Nashville that we all call home. So as you can see, there is much work to be done. Mayor Cooper, we thank you again, and we call on you to continue to support this work of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I would like to take a moment to thank the members of the Minority Caucus for laying the groundwork for this historic achievement, with a special thank you to Council Members Vercher, Hurt, and Gamble for sponsoring legislation that helped pave the way for us to be here today. And in closing, may we all leave today renewed to our commitment to this work and to making Nashville a city that serves and works for all communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Porterfield. At this time, I will invite the mayor to come and get ready to sign the executive order, and I also invite any elected officials to come behind him and any other guests who may want to take part in the picture as well.
Okay. There we are. All right. File this day. Thank you all. So great. Appreciate everybody being here. It's so important. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your work.
Brad. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
David, thank you, Mayor. All right, and then historians. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you.